Hi, it's Jay here again and welcome to another tutorial. So in this lesson we're going to fill out the onGUI function. So let's dive straight in and we'll come inside the function and we're going to say GUI dot and we want draw texture. So we'll open brackets there. And as always, we want a new rect. And we'll open brackets again. Now we need to actually position where we're going to draw the texture. And the texture we're going to draw first is this, the pistol icon. So we've already defined a space for it in the inspector. And we've already assigned the size on the x-axis and the y, which are both the same in this case, but you may be using rectangular icons. I'm going to use square ones, which is why these are the same. So again, you may have to experiment, and the same goes for where we're going to position it. Now I'm going to position mine to begin with at 0, and we're going to say screen dot height, and we'll say divide by 5, so position screen width as 0, screen height divided by 5. So that's my position on screen, and I may have to change these values myself. I'm just going to put them at this for testing, and then we can always tweak these once we get everything up and running and we can actually see how the screen looks. But that's where I'm going to place it for now. And then we just need to define the size, which we've already done, which is icon size on the x-axis first, underscore icon size on the y next. So we'll close one bracket, and then we'll say what texture to draw, which is the pistol icon. We'll close brackets, we close the line off. So we can get this into the comments, but we can break this line down for commenting. In fact, let's do that because it's good practice. So I'm going to enter here, here, and here. So we'll say draw texture. We'll come to the next line at this position. We'll come to the next line. We'll say by this size, and the next line, final line, and draw the icon texture. In fact, let's put pistol icon. So we've done GUI before, so I've quickly explained it again. I would think that you probably all understand how GUI works now. So we'll continue on and we'll move on. And we're going to say GUI, and this time let's use a label. Again, we'll open brackets, new, rect. We'll open brackets again. And again, we need to position this on screen. And we're going to say 5, 70, So that's where I'm going to position it on screen. And we'll give it a size of 100, 100. We'll close brackets and comma again. Now, I'm sure you can all see I've very quickly done this. Normally, I would define the sizes up here like I did with the icon. But I'm doing this because I know I will have to experiment with these values. So what we'll do is we'll get everything up and working. We'll see how it looks. We'll adjust these values. And when we get them somewhere where we want them, we'll actually go back and we'll tidy this up. So now we need to say what this label is going to display. So the first thing we want is a couple of speech marks, and inside I'm going to say in capitals ammo. And in fact, let's put the colon in there. And I'm going to leave the space just because it should look better when it's actually displayed. And I want to say ammo with the colon and a little gap. Plus, I also want the current pistol clip. We'll close brackets, we'll close the line off. And we'll put this into the comments. And yeah, let's do what we did with the draw texture. Let's just break this up. And let's comment this now. So we'll say create GUI label. And we'll put the same things at this position by this size. Let's move this along. And we'll say and print. And we'll put in exactly what we put in. Ammo with the colon and the gap. We'll say plus the current pistol clip, and we'll say, yeah, we'll say amount. So we'll enter there. So now we're starting to tie in here. So as you can see, we're returning the current pistol clip plus this plus the maximum ammo clip. So this is what it will display. It will say, when we actually come to test this out, it will say ammo plus the current pistol clip. And what the current pistol clip will say is quite simply the current pistol clip with the little / the maximum. So mine should say, if I have 6 bullets in my gun, it should say ammo. Excuse me. It should say 6, this, and 12. So let's continue on, and we'll say GUI.label. We'll open brackets, new rect. We'll open brackets again. And again, I'm going to put these values in very quickly for the position. And for the size as well. So I'm using 75, 105 by 100 and 100. We'll close brackets, comma. And we're going to say pistol inventory dot, and we want the toString function. We'll open and close brackets, we will close brackets again, and we'll close the line off. Excuse me. So we'll go over this in more detail, the toString function. In the meantime, I advise you to read up on it, as always, on the Unity website. But again, this will tie in when we create the inventory script along with this block of code we put in the previous lesson. So, again, as I said before, please don't worry if you do not understand this. When we actually come to create the inventory, I will obviously explain the inventory script, as I do with every script, and we'll come back at that point and we'll have a look at blocks of code like this and how this works and how they tie together and how they all work together. So I know it won't be an issue for some of you, but some of you it will. And as I said, please don't worry. We will go over it all when the time comes to create the inventory system. So with that said, I'm just copying and pasting in the same comments. Create GUI label. We're pasting in at this position. Copy by this size. And we'll come here. And we'll just say, and display ammo in inventory. And we'll come below here. And now we need to create the crosshair. So we'll say, we'll define a float as X, and we'll say it's going to be equal, let's open and close brackets. And I'm sure you've guessed how this is going to work. It's going to be screen width minus the crosshair width, so underscore pistol crosshair, and we'll come here and we'll just say divide by 2, and we'll close the line off there. So let's get this into the comments. We'll say X equals, we'll say the screen width, and we'll say minus the crosshair width, and we'll say and then divided by 2. And let's just copy that line, because we just need to do the same for the Y. So I'm just getting the center of the screen, the center when it comes to the width, and this line will change to the center for the height. So I've just changed that to float Y, change this to height, and we'll change this here. We need to change the X at the beginning, and we can change that there, yeah. So we're just getting the centers, and now we'll say GUI dot, and we want the draw texture, so we'll open brackets, new rect. Let's open brackets again. So what position do we want? We want the position on the X and the position on the Y. Then what we want is the, so let's have a look, pistol crosshair dot, and we want the width, comma, by the crosshair, pistol crosshair dot height, close brackets, comma, and then what we are going to display the pistol crosshair. We'll close brackets, we'll close the line off, and let's break this down again. And let's get this into the comments. So let's just copy these ones from the first block. So we are drawing a texture at this position, which we've already defined here, what these values are. Copy. By this size, which is going to be the size of the crosshair, and what we want to draw. So in this case it's the pistol crosshair, so let's paste that one in and change what needs to be changed and draw the pistol crosshair texture, and we'll save that off there. So I've used a few different ways of doing the GUI in this instance. I think it's always good in a tutorial to show different ways of doing things, so we can always come back. I mean, you may want to experiment yourself as putting these into groups, which we've done before in previous lessons, so maybe or hopefully some of you may feel confident to do that. As always, if you want me to come back and revisit these, I'll be happy to do so. Please just leave a comment or message me, just so I know. So we're just about, in fact I think we are now done with the pistol script. We still have quite a lot to do. Just come back to the weapon script, which I think we have very little to do. Obviously we have these ones here to fill out, but they aren't long functions to actually get the code in place. As you can see, I've got to tidy up my comments since changing the settings for the fonts, so I'll do that off camera. And we also need to get the code in place for the other ones. Oh, well, we seem to have a couple of errors, so let's go back and have a look at those, and let's have a look. So cannot be applied to int and texture. So let's have a look at what we can do. So we're using floats, screen dot width, and okay, seems to be a little strange. I've done GUI this way before, but as I said, nothing's ever a problem. So let's come here, and I know what I've done. I've forgotten to put in the dot width and dot height. So yes, float x equals screen width minus pistol crosshair dot width. Sorry about that. I won't edit that out. I'll leave this in the video because I think it's a good example that even the best of us can sometimes miss the obvious out of code. I think it's always good to for beginners to see that sometimes even people who are experienced can forget silly things like that. So let's leave that in the video, and I'm sure some of you will get a good laugh at that I've forgotten something so simple. So yes, with that said, let's come back. We'll let the script recompile, and as you can see, they all disappear. So yes, we're saved off. Luckily for the other weapons, we can actually copy and paste most of the code from the pistol script with just a few tweaks and variations. So we'll get onto that in the next video, and hopefully very soon we can start putting it all together in the scene and actually begin testing it out. So I hope you stay tuned for those videos. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope to see you next time, and until then, as always, bye for now.